Be a little espionage. You're not going to telegraph everything you're doing. Who knows?
They've never done that. They don't believe in it. Where they go, they draft.
They also never go to Liberty College to look at quarterbacks. They did. Maybe
that's
also
why
a
I'm nervous
screen.
about this.
By the
and
way,
I know you're not a Liberty. You're not a Malik Willis guy. Well, it was under 6 seconds. It was way better than anything Rich Eisen has done.
It was.
And I was in a quarter zip. It was in a quarter zip. I didn't even warm up. In fact, what was videotaped was my second run. I was out of breath for my first run, not to make excuses for myself. But, Bob, you don't want Malik Willis, do you? What are they doing? They're going to put a guy – you can't do that. He's so raw. This guy might take years. Trey Lance situation.
Right.
He might take years to be a good quarterback. I don't want to wait. He was not a great quarterback last year at Liberty, even against that level of competition. So I would say no to Willis. I don't think that they get in the car and drive 6 hours and meet with him and do all of this if they're not at least somewhat interested, Bob, in using that first-round pick on him. I don't think it's a smokescreen.
No,
I think they really like him.
I also don't think they're committed one way or the other. They're doing their research. We'll see where it leads them, but I don't think they will do that. I think they are comfortable with what they have for now, and I think they know next year is going to be a better crop of quarterbacks, and I think they'll go.
Well, I notice you don't want to talk about that Baker Mayfield thing, that Mary Kay Cabot report.
No, I do, but I want to get some calls in.
Do?
I want to come back to that, but I want to do a couple of calls because we have our number one Cochran call of the night coming up shortly. But in the meantime, we have, let's go to, is it Larry or Harry in Westview? Harry.
Harry, how are you?
Hey, Harry.
How you guys doing?
What's up, Harry?
Hey, Harry.
You stole my thunder. Not Pomp, but Pony. Talking about these linemen. Are they playing mind games? Like, what's this new fad in the NFL where they take somebody out to dinner, you hear all this stuff, and then you got the guy going to Liberty, but they're not even checking out the Iowa guy.
Well, that doesn't mean they don't know about him. They know about all these guys. That, again, I refuse to believe that they're just totally discarding that idea. But they are doing their due diligence on all these other guys, and we'll see. I don't think you can make a conclusion. You can look at it and wonder and come to the thought that maybe they're very much interested in his talent. But again, he's a project. You mentioned Trey Lance, Andrew. How about Zach Wilson? Did you see anything? I looked at him. No. I see average quarterback. You look at Baker, since you brought him up. You look at Trubisky. These are two guys who are 1 and 2 in the draft. Look at where they are. Trubisky's actually better than Baker Mayfield. And to your point, what is Mary Kay Cabot doing, saying that the Steelers would pounce on him? Are you kidding me?
Well, are you here to refute that report once and for all? Or are you going to say that there's no?
I'm not going to refute it. I just don't believe it.
Well, isn't that the same thing?
No. If I had something that was absolutely concrete from them, it would be refuted. I don't have that. What I'm saying is I can't believe that's happening.
Thank you for clarifying. Yep, I agree. That's your journalistic background coming out there, Bob. Absolutely. They did that with Joe Hayden. They pounced as soon as the Browns cut him. They went right to him. But Joe Hayden was a really good football player, and he wasn't cut because he had failed. He got caught up in that whole rebuilding, tanking thing that the Browns were doing, and they thought he was too old and too expensive, and the Steelers took great advantage of that. This is a total different situation. I think Baker Mayfield's a punk, frankly. If he wasn't, I don't think the Browns would have quit on him after only 4 years. I don't care if it's $1 million or $5 million. I want no part of that guy on my football team. I think he's a team obliterator type. I think he's so sensitive and thin-skinned that they promoted Freddie Kitchens just to make this guy happy. No business being a head coach. In the last 2 years, Bob, they throw the ball when they should be running it because they just want to make him happy. The guy's got an ego the size of the state of Ohio. If the Steelers pounce on him, I will lose a lot of respect for them. Would you agree?
Totally. I have no interest in Baker Mayfield. The fact is they're looking for trade partners and they can't find anyone. So that leads people to think he'll be released. And if he does, he'll get somewhere, but he won't be here because I think they have other things to tackle. Let's go out to Brad in Brookline. Brad, go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How are you?
Hey,
What's up, Brad?
Well, if it came down to the Steelers selecting Pickett or the quarterback from Liberty, there's no doubt in my mind you go with the kid from Liberty. He has so much more upside. And as for Bob, how can you say Trubisky is so much better than
I just look at statistics and what he's accomplished versus Mayfield. Jeff Hathorne was working on a piece for Odyssey, 93.7 The Fan, and he was going to back that up. So I'm waiting to see it when it comes out, but I know tonight at the Penguin game I was sitting next to him, and all the raw numbers indicate that he's better than Mayfield. Mayfield hasn't accomplished what you think he has. One playoff win, okay, and that was mostly handed to him by Pittsburgh. So, and as far as, first of all, Willis has too much raw. I don't like raw for a team that to me wants to still be competitive this year and next. I think you look at Trey Lance, you mentioned him, Andrew. Trey Lance is going to have a hard time being what they think he is, I think. From what I saw, they used him sparingly because they had Garoppolo, but I don't know that he's ready to do this.
Well, by that logic, you'd rather have, to your point previously, you'd rather have Zach Wilson than Mac Jones. And I'm not here to say Mac Jones is going to be any kind of great quarterback, but Mac Jones did a pretty good job as a rookie helping a team get to the playoffs. If people say there's a ceiling on him, maybe there is. But he's a competent quarterback. I know for sure Kenny Pickett, I saw his hands up close, Bob. I did. I shook his hand yesterday.
Stretched him.
His hand grew. I mean, we need to go to Ripley's Believe It or Not or something here. I mean, I've never seen a growing hand. That's incredible. One hand grew, the other one didn't. I mean, that's insanity, Bob. But, I think he's going to be a very good NFL quarterback. I don't buy into, well, he can't get better. What is that all about? Oh, he doesn't have potential. He doesn't? Did you see how much better Kenny Pickett went from 2020 to 2021? Why can't he continue to do that, Bob?
No, he can, absolutely. I just think the game is so much tougher at this level. And even if, and the one thing I like about him, and I'll say this before we go to break because we're late again, but he is a leader. He's a guy who has respect of that huddle. People love him. And they also love, and I think this is the stuff they're looking for when it comes to the intangibles, this willingness to win at all costs. He has that. He's a competitor. And you can see that with some guys and other guys you can't. So whether or not that translates into franchise quarterback or capable quarterback or efficient, however you want to label him, I think he has a pretty good future. And I do believe that it's going to be Carolina that takes him. We're going to take a break. Andrew, we'll come back with our call of the night and more right here on the Sports Call, presented by Ireland Contracting on 93.7 The Fan, as well as Pittsburgh CW.